Hello, Tashitele, everybody. I hope everyone is doing fine. Mm. Okay, so as usual, we start with settling our body and mind in the present moment. Use the breathing meditation exercise technique to do that. So for a few moments, try to to refresh our refuge practice. Try to establish as steady and a strong faith and conviction to the enlightened qualities and abilities of Guru Buddha Dhamma Sangha. So then, for a few moments, reflect on the four immeasurable thoughts and refresh bodhichitta or the altruistic intention for entire existence of our future times until we achieve full enlightenment. In particularly for this life, for this year, this month, this week, this day, and in particular this very session, the only cause and condition for the temporary peace and happiness all the way up to the ultimate happiness of liberation and enlightenment in each and every single numberless sentient beings. So for next few moments, do short meditation on loving kindness and compassion, keeping numberless sentient beings their samsaric condition, which is only bound by suffering, pervasive suffering, suffering of change, and suffering of pain, and in particularly uh, in human realm, uh, in relation to today's time, there's so many people are suffering from the coronavirus pandemic crisis. And there are so many people also, suffering from natural disasters like flood, etc. Then also so much suffering caused by man-made disasters, like such as just recent uh, the blast that happened in Beirut. So many people, so many insects, so many animals have suffered and died. So keeping all these beings in our heart, then uh, generate genuine love towards them and generate genuine compassion towards them and send the uh, then express the kindness through sending the frequency through the cultivation of love and compassion uh, to the well-being of all these numberless suffering sentient beings. Yeah, and also visualize and feel from depth of one's heart the present of all the lineage gurus up to one's root guru. Then feel that one is receiving the blessings, the dharma transmissions in the form of mind transformation within our own continuum and actualizing the realizations in the qualities of all these lineage gurus all the way up to Guru Shakyamuni Buddha. So in their present, then, we are going to go through the very blessed mind training teaching treatise. In particularly here today, we will go through the Geshe Chibuwa, his elaborate commentary on 7-point thought transformation. Oh yeah. So we will continue from where we stopped last. Um, so if you are using the same text, then which is on page 89. So just before the giving the 7 points. Yes, says the Seichibu Chugi Kanzen says that here I shall present the instruction of Podo. So to Geshe Chengawa and Geshe Potowa has a slight different presentation in relation to the cultivation of the main practice, which is the altruism, the bodhichitta. For Geshe Chengawa, the exchanging of self, the Tonglen practice, to be practiced later. But as for Geshe Podawa, the Tonglen practice is to practice from the very beginning when one engage into the cultivation of altruism. So here, say Chibuchugi Ganzen or Geshe Chuguwa, follow the lineage tradition that drive from Geshe Podawa and how Geshe Podawa will present. So this has 7 points. First, the presentation of the preliminary, the basis. Second is training in the true mind of awakening, the main practice. And third is taking adverse condition onto the path of enlightenment. And fourth is presentation of lifetime practice in summary. Fifth is presentation of the measure of having trained the mind. Sixth, presentations of the commitment of the mind training. 7, presentations of the precept of mind training. So first, the presentation of preliminary practice as a basis. So even from the heading, whether any of the Buddha's teaching treatise, whether to do with the sutra or Vinaya or the Bodhisattva practice or the Vajrayana practice, the preliminary practice as a basis is must required, without which without which it would be like building a building without a foundation. So therefore, whether the teaching or the practice to do with for one very short session practice or lengthy lifetime, the guideline of the practice, whatever it is, it has to be structured within the three bases of the practice. The first one is the initial, the preliminary, then in the middle, the main practice, then at the end, the dedication, so like that. So here too, for the Lojong practice, which is the main teaching, main practice, whether to do with the to conduct in the retreat practice or to conduct in the daily meditation session or taking as a lifetime practice, it should be engaged on the basis of the preliminary practice. So here, so Geshe Chipuwa said the first point, the presentation of the preliminary, which is the basis, is stated by the following. The practitioner of this mind training must be someone who, by relying on the qualified teacher, whose lineage stem from Atisha, has trained in his or her mind in the three scopes in the systematic order, and has thus reached a certain level. As far as concerned with the mind training teaching, like as a Geshe Podowa, or this particular the author Kadamba Geshe Chibuwa, the lineage stream definitely has to root to Lama Atisha. Lama Atisha, who has the both the lineage from the profound teaching as well as the extensive teachings of the lineage, who has the lineage blessing from like such as Manjushri, Nagarjuna, Shantideva, and also who has the lineage blessing of Maitreya, Asanga, and Silingba. So therefore, due to the authentic lineage, then it make the authenticity of the drive of the blessing in realization to the lineage followers. So like us, in order to truly practice the mind training teaching like this, like 7-point thought transformation, to actualize realization, then it is not good enough just someone know how to explain the teaching. Someone who can give the reading presentation. One need to receive the commentary or the transmission from someone that who have actualized the transmissional lineage blessing. Otherwise, we may gain immense of benefit of intellectual knowledge, immense of benefit of even tool for the contemplation. But then when we take the wisdom of contemplation into meditation, then to actualize the realization, encounter immense of obstacles, mental blockage to reach to the realization, and that is due to the lacking of the lineage blessing. So therefore, in Buddhist teaching, the lineage, the unbroken lineage, unstained lineage, is most important. Unstained lineage here is that the lineage holder, even that particular teacher has the lineage, but then that teacher have broken samaya in relation to the an example here, the mind training teaching. In relation to the mind training teaching, then you have broken samaya, broken guru yoga practice in relation to the their own lineage guru. Then in that sense, then when we receive transmissions and commentaries from that particular stained teacher, then again, similar way before, we may gain great knowledge, intellectual knowledge, and we may gain immense of ideas to contemplate, broad wisdom to contemplate. But then when come to the whole essence of the practice is to gain realization in the continuum, then you encounter the obstacle of blockage. like that, So, so therefore, here the Geshe Chipuga, pointed very clearly. The practitioner of this mind training must be someone who have relied on a qualified teacher, whose lineage is streamed from Adisha, qualified teacher. In relation to the lineage here, the qualified, one of the qualification beside the minimum 5 different qualities which express from the Maitreya's teaching. Best is to actualize the 10 Mayanic teachers' quality, if not at least 5 qualities. And on top of that, among that, one of the important quality, that which relate to all the rest of the other qualities is the qualification of having the stream of lineage blessing into that group. You see, so from there, and then all the blessings is possible. So from there, from that reason, then Guru is the root of the path, not just because of the knowledge that we're receiving. The Guru become root of the path because of the stream of the lineage, the channeling of the lineage blessing. That's why that Guru become root of one's path. What is the path? The path is not the intellectual knowledge on the Dharma. Path is not the all the philosophical views, all the logics, all the reasonings. That is not the path. that which we can use for contemplation on the teaching, but that's not the path. The path is the realization on the teaching. Realization on the renunciation is the path. Realization on bodhichitta is the path. Realization on emptiness is the path. You see, so that realization has to have cause, has to have its root. So the root or the cause, the resultant, the realization that disciple achieve in their mental continuum, the cause or the root has to, the direct cause and root has to refer to the lineage transmission that you are provided by the guru's own the lineage blessing that is stored, lineage blessing that have actualized from he or her lineage guru. Okay, so that trace all the way up to the enlightened, the source, the Buddha themselves, has to be unbroken. So if it's broken, then the result cannot be authentic. If the cause is interrupted, the result cannot be authentic, isn't it? You see, if like you want to produce one particular one particular, what do you call, the type of grain, or one particular type of fruit, that seed cannot be modified or contaminated in between, in order to sustain the exact type. You see, if it's modified, like nowadays, so many fruits, so many grains, so many, even the flowers, their colors are modified. They inject something, they infuse something else, so there's a lot of interruptions in between, you see. So for the lineage of the Dharma, the authenticity of the blessing, that channel that directly passed down to the teacher, to the disciple, cannot be modified. cannot be uh, uh, cannot be diluted. Cannot be diluted. So the dilution here again. Uh, if the guru devotion is the samaya between the guru and disciple is broken, you see. So in today's time, there are many, Lojong practitioners, teachers who practice Lojong, in particularly in the name of Kadamba. You see, this is a Kadamba teaching. Kadamba Geshes, the lineage gurus is the Kadamba Geshes. The new Kadamba Geshe, which is referring to Lama Tsongkhapa. But then there are people who misuse the name and whose the root guru, has broken the guru devotion, the guru devotion. You see, so then, but as far as concerned with the knowledge, there's advanced knowledge is there. But then when the receiver, when we talk about the unbroken lineage transmission, it's a big question there, you see. So when you refer to the root guru's teaching, like such as Kadamba Geshe says, Shibuchugi Gyanzen here says very clearly, you see. So yeah, so that's why it's extremely, have to be careful and have to take it very serious about that. Otherwise, in the name, we carry the name of spiritual practitioner. We found such a profound dharma, but then we didn't, get the maximum benefit, which is to actualize the realization, because of the relying on the broken lineage, contaminated lineage. Then your mind gets blocked, to gain the realization. Then, if within this life, within this precious human lifetime, we have all the conducive conditions, if we are unable to actualize the maximum benefit of actualizing realization on bodhichitta, realization in emptiness, realization in renunciation, then you're going to ruin the benefit for eons lifetime in future. Eons lifetime in future get affected through the interruptions of unfavorable rebirths, unfavorable, particularly unfavorable rebirths. You see, so it's a very, very serious matter. It's very, very serious matter. In particularly when we talk about choosing a qualified guru, relying on a qualified teacher. You see, it is a most important subject, and the subject that which should discuss on the first day of knowing the Dharma, on the first day of on the first class of the Dharma teaching, on Guru devotion, on how to rely on the Guru, you see. So therefore, the structured Lamrim teaching is the best guideline to anyone, the newcomers, advanced practitioners. You see, for newcomer, start from Lamrim, then first subject is start to talk about the teaching on the teaching on Guru devotion. Here the teaching on Guru devotion is not just talking about submitting yourself to someone, but it's also talk about all the prerequisites of how one can able to submit, and after submit what to expect and what are the benefits, and also the most importantly the qualities of self, the student, and qualities of the teacher. So then if we travel through that journey, then the rest of our spiritual journey will be safe, and the rest of our spiritual journey will be free from all the unnecessary obstacles. In particularly if we encounter obstacle in relation to doubting the guru, then that's the heaviest obstacle that occur in our spiritual life. You see, that in fact that should be cleared at the very beginning, but in many cases that that clarification comes somewhere in the mid of our spiritual journey, or in somebody's very very unfortunate someone's cases is it comes even in the later part of our spiritual journey within this lifetime. So then if that happens, then it's the most unfortunate. It's like far more worse than billions of dollars losing just in the moment, far numberless times more serious than losing entire material world. You see, because this spiritual foundation is a matter for rest of our future lifetime. When it comes to the material wealth, it's just about this lifetime. You see, so therefore, from very beginning that we have to talk about the Guru devotion. So sometimes we tend to skip the topic on Guru topic that which Lama Tsongkhapa already guided at the beginning. Is Lamrim, the gradual path to enlightenment. When we study, we also should study gradually, from beginning to end. And sometimes we come to hear that you skip that the first subject, then try to learn about bodhichitta, learn about emptiness. Then more worse than that, or already start to take initiations, already practice kind of like practicing tantra. Then it's like playing with the fire, or it's oneself, like putting a situation right on the edge of cliff and try to dance there, so therefore, extremely so. So therefore, according with this teaching, one thing that can remind us is that after we have relied on our guru, then they have to actualize perfection in Guru Yoga practice, perfection in Guru devotion practice, because without that, there's no cause to actualize the result, the realization in the path. You see, there's no foundation to actualize the realization in the path. Whose lineage stream from Atisha has trained in her or her mind, and in the three scopes in the systematic order. The basic teachings of the small scope, middle scope, and higher scope, that has to be well understood, well contemplated, gain firm conviction in those teachings, then happen to take into our practice. That until that, then you have experience the taste of those practices in our day-to-day life, day-to-day situation, reach, certain level, you know, mm, meaning that you have tasted the benefit of this teaching. So the this the mm, so of course, the three scopes, they have the focus preliminary teachings there. But when these teachings are combined, uh, all the basis teachings from all the three scopes that which combine to take as a preliminary uh, to higher practice, or to act in relation to Lojong teaching, to practice emptiness and bodhichitta, then you will come into the four points, the four object of reflection, four object of four, what's it, four object, or the 4 points, or four reflections. The first one is precious human rebirth. Then the teachings on death and impermanent, and then teachings on the understanding the the faults of samsara, faults of samsara, faults of no realm, faults of samsara, and the third understanding of the karmic law, cause and effect. So these four are the preliminary here. What is talking about, and these four thoughts of reflection, or these four thoughts of wisdom, is the preliminary to all the three scopes. All the three scopes. And in order to practice the main practice, like in this sutra practice, like such as Lojong, Mahayanic sutra Lojong practice, these four reflections play as a basis, as a preliminary, without having certain taste, without having certain training in these 4 points, or without having certain capability in application of these teachings in our day-to-day life, without having gained certain impact through this, reflection on the 4 points. If we start to meditate on emptiness, if we start to, develop the wisdom on emptiness, if we start to develop bodhichitta, it will be immense of hardship. It will be so difficult to develop. So if we have the strong basis of this understanding and application on the 4 preliminary basis, then on that basis, when we meditate on emptiness, very easy to understand, very easy to make sense. When you contemplate, and when you meditate, it's very easy to gain realization. Similar goes to the conventional altruism. When we develop bodhicitta, it is easy to develop bodhicitta. It's easy to understand, easy to make sense the idea of bodhicitta, easy to make sense, easy to have a reason, practical reasons, to convince that the bodhicitta is definitely can be developed. And not only that, it brings easy to become your mind. The bodhicitta will able to become your mind in realizations, you see. So yeah, so that's what it means. Thus reach a certain level. The practitioner, having generated the true awakening mind, aspiring and engaging, is cognizant of the including even a minute, precept of these practices. So then you see someone who truly want to actualize the realization of true out human mind on the basis of these four preliminary, then not just wishing that you want to actualize bodhicitta, but then rather to be committed and to start that is to taking the precepts, the aspiring bodhisattva precepts, then engaging bodhisattva precepts. You see. So after taking the commitment in aspiring bodhicitta, then you discipline yourself to at least aspire in bodhicitta attitude, at least like 6 times, as many times as possible, and eventually that will develop into a realization in aspiring bodhicitta, which without needed to reasoning, always arising in our mind. Then, by taking the engaging bodhisattva vow, then train or discipline our body, speech, and mind to engage in the act in the practice of 6 paramita, 6 perfection. Discipline and train ourselves to engage in the practice of 6 paramita, like such as practice of generosity, morality, patience, joyous effort, concentration, wisdom, etc. So eventually, after training that, then one gain the realization in the engaging bodhisattva's conduct. You see, and that way, then you obtain the genuine bodhicitta, genuine resulting bodhicitta, that which carry the quality of both the aspiration as well as engaging in the action, which is like the individual practitioner who first time actualize the path of accumulation, carry the absolute qualities of both aspiring bodhicitta and engaging bodhicitta, and which is the result of training our mind, training our body, speech, and mind into the precept that you took in the very initial level on the basis of the 4 preliminary practices. So many of us many of us who already taken initiations, and high Sukhitandri initiation, then definitely we have taken bodhisattva vows, engaging and aspiring both bodhisattva vows. And many of us that even though we haven't taken initiation, but we have taken, the aspiring bodhisattva vows. You see, so you see, so just taking the precepts is not good enough. You see, so even if we have taken the precept, but without having firm foundation, firm preliminary, the 4 points, we don't have a good, solid reflection on that, solid training in that, then bodhisattva aspiration is like kind of just a word, one ceremony. Then after that, it's totally gone. Even there won't be any kind of like a well-disciplined, the reinforcing of the practice of arising bodhicitta attitude in our day-to-day life. You see. So therefore, when we follow the systematic way, as like what he had taught, that we should train through a systematic way, which is most beneficial, which is required, because we didn't do the systematic way. That's why even though how many times that we have taken initiation, and remembering of bodhicitta, as aspiration of bodhicitta is very rare, you see. And even sometimes when we do sadhana, we simply recite, but we don't really feel it. I'm talking about my own experience. maybe not to you, but there is a people like me. You see, if I don't train systematically, how many times the initiation I've taken, and I have to do sadhana every day, but then it's more like like parroting, reading and finishing and done. But then actual feel of the aspirational attitude in one's heart, genuinely aspiring for enlightenment, which is genuinely concerning the misery of sentient being, all sentient being, is not there. You see, it's not there, You see, it's like, even though through the reflection on the word of the chanting, you can understand, but there's no feeling. You see, there's no feeling from depth of one's heart. Like in the ornament of clear realizations, it teaches about the sign of you really feeling it from depth of your heart. Like, when you think of, when you meditate on compassion, when you meditate on love to all sentient beings, when you meditate on the aspire, when we talk about expressing aspirational bodhichitta, is very much aspiration of very fully matured unconditional love and compassion. You see, when you express that, there's a sign of goosebumps stand up, sign of tear naturally falls, because you really, feel unbearable of the suffering situation of sentient being. And you, it's like, it's almost like, your head is on fire, like there's not even, you feel like there's not even one moment that you can able to delay to extinguish that fire. You see, you see. So that kind of like urgency, that kind of enthusiasticness, that kind of intensity, has to be arise. You see. So that can able to do so when we have this, very solid foundation on the four reflection. Then after that, after taking the commitment, the precept, then the precept become genuine precept. You see. Then the training, then the actual training start to take place. You see. The actual training start to take place. You see. So that's how the progress of reaching, to actualizing the path of accumulation happens in this process. Otherwise, not possible. So in short, the four reflection. Then after that, we should, those who are really serious about the developing the bodhicitta and emptiness and enlightenment, then one should take the bodhisattva aspiring and engaging precepts, then get to train into it, and this is the process. So these are the prerequisites. You see, to develop bodhicitta is must, is condition. To engage in the practice of the true mind of awakening, you, the practitioner, should first include enthusiasm at the beginning your meditation session by earnestly contemplating the following points. So first one is to reflect on the meaningfulness of having obtained the human existence of the leisure and opportunity. So as mentioned before, the eight freedoms, 10 endowments and 8 freedoms. You see, so you see, so like what taught in the Lamrim, if you can meditate, point by point at the beginning, it could be very beneficial. Such as the 8 freedom in relation to human, and in relation to non-human, You see, hmm, hmm. When you think of these qualities, then really, feel how fortunate, as I mentioned many times in the past sessions. Uh, it is also a very powerful meditation to bring happiness to yourself. You know, when you think of the qualities of the precious human rebirth, you feel happy. You see, Mm. Yeah. So yeah. So just to point out, if in case if there are anybody who is very new to the Lamrim, I hope not. But if there are new one, then maybe I just list out four freedom from the four filter within the human existence. First one is the not holding wrong view. Mm. Second one is not being born in a barbaric land. Uh, mm. Then being born in the where Buddha's teachings are dominant. Having complete perfect sense faculties. You see, so not holding wrong view, not holding wrong view on karmic law, cause and effect, not holding wrong view in refuge. You know, Mm. Then if someone that already have a correct understanding of Buddhist philosophy on the view, that would be even great. But if not, at least having a sense of open mind, towards Buddha and Buddhist teachings, have open mind towards causality, karmic law causality. Mm? Mm. Mm. Uh, so we are definitely having a correct view, which itself is so fortunate. Can imagine if we are holding wrong views, it will ruin entire our human opportunities, precious opportunities. Mm. Mm. And of course, um, when we talk about not being born in a barbaric land, uh, uh, it is mainly about the mindset, the attitude. You know, I think physically in today's time, there's no barrier. Mm. Even though that particular land uh, where you have born, there's no how to say uh, there's no the virtue dharma conduct, but then due to the past karmic impact, that you can able to still have interest in dharma, interest in virtue, and nowadays there's no restriction and there's no barrier for oneself to pursue by traveling to places where people cultivate virtues, dharma, etc. So so almost like in now is if it's if oneself regarded that one is born in a barbaric land, is very much if your mind is in a barbaric mindset, then that is, I think, barbaric land. Even one happened to born in the right central of where Buddha have meditated, where Buddha have gained enlightenment, but one's mind is completely stuck and remain under total influence of uh, negativities, then that is the barbaric. And being born in a Buddhist domain, and nowadays everywhere, as long as you have interest, as long as you have open mind, Buddha Dharma is everywhere. Hmm. Then having complete sense faculty. So here I think complete sense faculty, especially talking about the mental, the mainly the mental capability, to generate faith, to generate way to learn, way to cultivate understanding, etc. Nowadays even someone don't have eye senses, you can still listen to teaching, you know you can still be accessible to Dharma. Even someone who don't have a hearing, still there's a way to educate the Dharma. You see. So basically, um, as long as one has interest, one has one's allowed, you know one's basic potential to express, then the Dharma is everywhere and possible. So like that. Then for freedom from the non-human existent feature in non-human existence, then oneself not being born in the hell realm, not being born in hungry ghosts, not being born in the animal realm, not being born in the long life gods, which is again, is very helpful for the mind when we think of this. Sometimes we feel, due to certain circumstances in life, either due with health, financial or relationship, etc., you just tends to feel the life is one's life is most miserable, as if there's no more miserable existence out there than you're miserable, and feel very down, feel very worthless. And when you think of these qualities of precision rebirth, like such as right this very moment, oneself, knowing oneself is not being born in the hell. If one happened to born in the hell, then how the situation would be. And that itself is like, wow, how fortunate. Not being born in a hungry ghost, learning all these characteristic of these low realms, wow, your suffering is nothing compared to them. Your limitations are nothing compared to them. You see, whatever is, it's just simply, just complaining without, much basis. It's like that, So even when we compare with the animals, the the suffering that animals have to go through, just being a human, having this human freedom, that itself is unbelievable quality, very uplifting. You see. So even one happened to be born as a long life god, but when you learn about the actual fact of the life of long life deity, long life gods, then it's almost like nothing special. Even you're born as a god, but then when you think of your own quality of this, having all these opportunities, having all this, characteristic of this what called precious human rebirth, in particularly, when you refer to the 10 endowments, then you start to feel that unbelievable, how amazing this life is, and that helps to uplift, helps to make you happy. You see. So so even just to uh, uplift your mind in our day-to-day day-to-day difficulties, reflecting on the precious human rebirth is very beneficial. You see. But then it's for the actualization of the Dharma practice, in particular in relation to here for the Lojong practice, then when you reflect on the precious human rebirth, then you must grab the chance. While you have all these conditions, when you have this condition, when you don't grab, then when you're going to take the maximum benefit of the Lojong practice, which is one of the most marvelous, most beneficial quality that we can achieve. You see, so therefore, this is one of the very important basis to the practice. To prevent yourself from wasting it, think I must practice Dharma. And among Dharma practice, this mind training is the most excellent. So when you achieve this precious human rebirth, then in order to prevent wasting, this precious human rebirth, then one of the way to utilize the meaning or the preciousness is to practice Dharma. To actualize the essence of life is practice the Dharma. Not to waste the life is to practice the Dharma. Then, among the Dharma practice, there are so many Dharma practices, so many techniques, so many yanas, so many philosophies, so many rituals, so many this and that. But among all those Dharma, then mind training, this mind training, the Lojong, is the most excellent. You see, so there's so many reasons, why it is meaning the Lojong practice is the most excellent. Among hundreds of reasons, one reason is all the teachings. The purpose of all the teaching is to Lojong. All the purpose of the teaching is to train the mind. Lojong means Lo, mind, Jong, train the mind. Or in another way, all the purpose of the teaching, whether it's sutra, tantra, philosophy, whatever it is to transform the mind, transform our, wrong habits, transform, gain transformation from our wrong habits, delusional habits of the mind. We gain the transformation into wisdom, into perfect methods like bodhichitta, wisdom of emptiness, and perfect method of bodhichitta, through eradication, through purification of the self-grasping attitude and self-cherishing attitude. You see, so that is the purpose of entire Dharma. Why we practice Tantra is for that. Why we practice Vinaya, it is for that. Why we practice Sutra, it is for that. Why we practice all the other, ritual pujas, practices, sadhanas, meditations, developing shamatha, doing, virtues, whatever in the name of Dharma, is all for purpose, for one purpose, is to transform our mind. You see, so therefore, that the specific organized, teaching, like such as 7-point thought transformation or 8 verses of thought transformation, whatever the teaching that you contain within these hundreds of within these great collections of the Lojong teachings, are the straightforward technique. Not through a very big philosophical kind of theory, not very mystic kind of tantric way. You see, not very ritualistic, not like that. It's a very straightforward technique, very relevant, straightforward, very simple. That's why Lojong teachings. You hardly see the the what do you call the presentation of uh, the references of many quotations from many other philosophical views and other treatises. Is it's just it's directly focusing. It's like kind of one person directly talking to you, what you should do, what you shouldn't do. Like do this, don't do this, do this, don't do this. Like that, have to do like that, like this. Not giving a kind of uh, philosophical, kind of debatable. There's nothing required to debate uh, whether this will be effective or workable or not, because it is just matched just perfectly. It is timely, rightly, perfectly, in every aspect. You see, so therefore, the mind training teaching is the most excellent. So if you want to, since uh, your life is so precious, then you don't want to waste that preciousness, then practice Lojong. You know, uh, since you know that you have all the qualities and conditional qualities to extract the maximum meaning of life, which is your precious human rebirth, then you practice the Lojong. That is the taking uh, the essence of the maximum meaning of life. Then reflect, even though I may have found a human existence of leisure and opportunity, within my lifespan, there is no time to spare. Hmm? So then the second, you reflect on death and impermanent. You see, yes, life is very precious. I have all these great qualities to actualize the meaning of life, but death is certain, time of death is uncertain. My nature of this, all the quality that I have lies in the impermanent nature. You see, so therefore, I should practice, this marvelous essence of extracting the essence of life, which is practicing Lojong right now, right this very moment. You see, like great Pandita like Ayadeva, mentioned that as long as that we don't able to take the essence in the present moment, then we are not able to extract the actual meaning of life. You see, because of being uncertainty, uh, uh, you know, of next moment. You see, the only thing is definite is the present moment. You see, uh, uh, whether to do with being happy, whether to extracting virtue, whether to do with preventing negativities, like even like unhappiness, uh, any negative arising negative emotion. What Ayade was saying is everything should perform in the present moment. You know, how we know how destructive of negative emotion or being unhappy is, but then if we tell ourselves that I'm going to avoid being unhappy tomorrow, I'm going to avoid being unhappy later or next moment, and that is unwise. Because there's no certainty next moment that you have even opportunity to avoid unhappiness, being unhappy, being negative. You see, uh, you see. But if you choose to avoid being unhappy now, present moment, you have ability, and you may able to do that. You have full opportunity to do that. You know, You see, with the least effort that you can able to overcome being unhappy in the present moment. This very one present moment. We are not talking about entire present moment. We are talking about this one moment, present moment. One tick, tock, tick, one tick. You see, you hear the clock sound, tick, tick, tick. The moment of that one tick, the present moment. Meaning the moment your mind is aware, that is the present moment. During that awareness, you have to choose to avoid being unhappy. You have to choose to not to let your mind to ruin by unhappiness or block, avoid in arising of any negative emotion, in that present moment, you see. So if we are able to secure that present moment, then if there's a next moment that comes, into its own present time, then, you can able to influence that in happiness, in virtues. And even in the natural, the law cause and effect, the present moment is the creation of cause to the future moment, you see. So the mental continuum that which arises delusion, which experience the suffering, if the causal stage of the mind is occupied with the happiness or virtue, then the next moment, which is the resultant time, naturally the result will be happiness, will be virtue, because that is the law of cause and effect. You see. You see. So therefore, what Ayadeva was saying is that if you want to be happy in the future, you should be happy in the present moment. You see. If you want to have a virtuous next moment, then actualize virtues in the present moment. You see. So the job is only to secure, the time that what you have in virtue, in peace, which is this very present moment. You see, there may be like tsunami of problems are going on. Could be in your physical health, could be in financial, could be in any other situation. Even there's like tsunami like problem out there, but just try to focus only one very small minor required effort to focus to just that very present moment. Whatever the negativities that one may concern, if there's a next moment, I will deal about it. But present moment, I have to secure, the peace. Secure the peace. You see. So, in the Dharma way, the way to secure the peace is in relation to what I mentioned about the problem is by occupying the present moment with the wisdom, or with the wisdom, in particularly to overcome the problem. The wisdom of impermanence, you see. It's understanding that, yes, the problem is very tough, but it lies in the nature of impermanence. So therefore, it will overcome. Then try with that consulting your mind, you try to rest in the happiness in the present moment by avoiding or by letting go of the grasping which bring the suffering to the problem. You see. So similar way, Lojong practice is transforming all the adversities into a path. And the way to, the starting point is securing the present moment with all the Lojong wisdoms, whatever we learn from Lojong, try to occupy our mind in the present moment. And that is the way how we overcome adversities into a path. You see, like the root of the Lojong teaching, one of the root of the Lojong teaching is a Shantideva's Bodhisattva Abhidacharya. If the problem can be solved, what's the point of worry? If the problem cannot be solved, what's the point of worry? You see, we chant the word, but we have to feel it. How to feel it? By having the wisdom of impermanent. By having the wisdom of emptiness of the problem. By having the wisdom on the causality, the cause and effect on the problem. If the problem already completed with the cause and condition, then it's the natural karmic law, cause and effect. The result has to go through. Then what's the point of worry? You see, if even though certain cause is already taking impact, but the full condition is still not ripened, then what's the point of worrying? Because it won't conclude the way how we perceive or how we grasp on the problem, as if this problem going to last forever or ruin everything. You see, so like using like such wisdom to occupy in the present moment, then and again, as mentioned before, because of the law, cause and effect, that naturally affects the next moment of your consciousness. Then that will continue to affect the following moments. So if that moment continue for one whole day, then one whole day is secure in the peace. If that moment continue for days and weeks and months and years, entire days and weeks and months and years are filled with the peace. So you see, so the application of Lojong, transforming adversity, transforming adversity into a path is a start from the present moment. You see, so we have to train ourselves first to really to have a clear and full conviction that what you call genuinely, really, the one thing that we can definitely confirm, my entire existence is only the present moment. Nobody can confirm that my existence will be there even in the next moment. No one. So once we gain that foundation, then on that foundation, then we utilize the Dharma wisdom, Lojong wisdom, to take all the adversities into a path. So dead and impermanent. You see, so we have to practice Lojong, right very now. So carrying that wisdom, then wherever we go, whatever we do, the Lojong technique, Lojong teachings are always in our mindfulness. You see, so every difficulty we apply, we try to deal with the Lojong way of thinking, you see, and that anybody can do, because anybody can do, and it is most what you call suitable to take that into a practice in any different lifestyles, whether job or whether family matter. You see, that doesn't kind of limit it. That doesn't limit the responsibility in our conventional world. You see, rather this Lojong wisdom, in fact, make our conventional responsibility even more solid, more more successful. You see, like that. Mhm. Since in future lives I must experience happiness and suffering as a fruit of my virtues and negative karma, this mind training is the most excellent virtuous activity. So that is a meditation or reflection on the karmic law, cause and effect. You see, so everything is by product of karma, karmic cause. So next moment unhappiness is product of karmic cause. Next moment of happiness also product of past karmic cause and condition. The how we're going to die, happy death or suffering death, is byproduct of past karma and condition. What kind of intermediate state that we're going to go through depend on past karma and condition. What kind of rebirth, whether we're going to get enlightened within this lifetime or not, depend on past karmic cause and effect. Whether we will definitely not going to be born in the hell realm, depend on past karmic cause and effect. Whether we're going to meet our perfect Mayanic Guru life after lifetime, as we always pray, whether that will happen or not, depend on past karmic cause and effect. You see. So whether we're going to actualize bodhichitta and emptiness within this lifetime or not, or whenever, is dependent on past karmic cause and effect. So remembering that, then creating the cause right now in the present moment, to all the goodness, from the temporary happiness up to the ultimate happiness of enlightenment, benefit to yourself, to the benefit to the rest of the sentient being. It comes from the cultivation of the karma in relation to the practice of Lojong. So when you practice the Lojong, which is consists of entire virtue and entire Dharma, the greatest Dharma, the greatest virtue, when you cultivate that in the present moment, from the temporary happiness up to the ultimate happiness is secured. For temporary happiness to yourself, temporary happiness to others, ultimate happiness to yourself, ultimate happiness to others, all are secured. You see, all the lower realm, the suffering and the lower realms are prevented. All the happiness and higher rebirths are, created because you create the cause in the present moment by cultivation of Lojong practice. So, understanding the karmic law, cause and effect, then make yourself to only cultivate Lojong practice. You see. Even for the goal of freedom from silent existence, no path is more profound than this. So you see. So then reflect on the falls of the samsara, falls of the three lower realms, and falls of the entire samsara it is causes. And by reflecting on that, then you see how filthy it is. It is not a place for us to come back again or go again. Be there even for a moment again. You see. When we start to realize the true face of samsara and true face of it is causes the karma and delusion. You see. So now, in order to overcome that, the direct antidote is a Lojong practice. You see. You see, the main cause of why we suffer in samsara, why we fall in the three lower realm, why we have pain here and there, why we have trouble here and there, including this coronavirus, everything is by the cause. These are called samsara, and all these samsaras are by product of past cause. The cause is the karmic action. The negative karmic action that committed by the delusions. And that delusion perform on the basis of the root delusion, the ignorant self-grasping. You see, so ignorant self-grasping is the root cause. You see, that brought all the misery in samsara. You see, so now Lojong practice is main practice of Lojong is to cultivate the true altruism. So emptiness wisdom is a direct antidote to the self-grasping. Then cultivation of conventional bodhichitta, direct antidote to the self-cherishing attitude. So now you see, that concludes everything here. You see, entire Dharma is here. So entire Dharma, the essence is in the Lojong. It directly open on to the root cause of the samsara, root cause of all the suffering. You see, and the cultivation of the main cause that which bring all the realization of path and enlightenment from the temporary happiness up to the ultimate happiness and enlightenment, which is bodhicitta emptiness. You see, so this is even for the goal of freedom from psychic existence, no path is more profound than this, the Lojong. This mind training is also the supreme cause for attaining Buddhahood for the benefit of self and others. So first line is referring directly, the Lojong teaching is being antidote to the root cause of samsara, self-grasping attitude. The second line is, mentioning the direct antidote to the self-cherishing attitude. You see, by eliminating self-cherishing attitude, then the Buddhahood, which is the benefit for itself and all other, will be attained. So contemplate these points not only when your enthusiasm for training of the mind is strong, but also when such enthusiasm is lacking. You see, so these 4 points is all the time. When you are practicing Lojong, also this 4 point has to be meditated before you meditate on bodhicitta emptiness. You just reflect on this 4 point. It's important. When you are not doing specifically, meditation on bodhicitta emptiness, wherever you are, even in the very busy, our ordinary activity, these 4 points should be always like arising in our thoughts. You see, arising in our thoughts. So this way, then, the success in securing happiness and virtue will be possible and easily will be actualized, and prevention of negativities, and prevention from being in suffering, in particularly suffering of pain, especially to do with the mental suffering, will be free, will be easily overcome. So like that. Okay, so today I will stop here. So then next session we will start from the main training in the true mind of the awakening mind, the main practice. So from the 7 point, the first point is done. Okay, so now we do short dedication practice. Should do dedication. So without any doubt that we have gathered immense of virtues and merits. So they made this virtues and merit together with all the virtues and merit of the past, present, future Buddhas and Gurus be the complete cause for numberless sentient beings to purify samsara and its causes and actualize from temporary happiness up to the ultimate happiness of enlightenment. May this collective merit be the complete cause for the pandemic crisis, the natural disasters, whatever the humans are going through, the animals are going through, to overcome this instantly. May this collective merit be a complete cause for all the good people, like such as good people, the source of peace and happiness of the world, source of peace and happiness and virtue of the people, like His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama, like Gyabje Lama Soparinpoche, and all the spiritual gurus, and all the compassionate people, millions and millions out there, and yourself, each and every one of you, or enjoy always perfect health, long life, successful in all the virtuous deed that you conduct, and fulfill all your aspirations from serving, people and animal around you, taking care of your family, and all the way up to the aspiration to liberate numberless sentient beings, to the peerless happiness enlightenment be actualized accordingly. Then may this collective merit be complete cause for all the institutions where they, uh, they learn, they educate in virtues, educate the teachings of mind training like that, educate, Dharma, educate about, peace and happiness, flourish ever. And may all the may this collective merit be complete cause for all the world leaders, leaders of organizations, leaders of family, actualize, genuine, loving kindness and compassion and equanimity, so that they can able to, take care of their people, their family, their followers with so much genuine, unconditional love, kindness, compassion, and equanimity, so that everyone can able to experience peace and happiness. May this quality merit be complete cause for each and every one of us, like how, like Bodhisattva Shantideva dedicate his life for the benefit of numberless sentient beings. How Mother Tara, when she was training, when she was as a prince training in the path, dedicated her life to serve the sentient beings' happiness. How, like His Holiness Dalai Lama, like Gyabje Lama Soparinpoche, dedicate their life to serve the happiness of sentient beings. We too, able to dedicate the rest of our life from this very moment onward, every single actions of our body, speech, and mind, only in the service of bringing happiness and virtue to all the humanity, to all the sentient beings. May we be only the cause of happiness and virtue for others. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everybody. And please take very good care of yourself, both your body and mind. Do good exercise. Do prostrations, long prostrations whenever you can. Especially, I think many part of the world still having lockdown, so there's no much to go out jogging and climbing exercise. So therefore, at home, we can do long prostration. Very, 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 very beneficial for physical health and also mental health. And Lojong, try to just read, just flip out, Lojong teaching. It will be so helpful for our mind to keep healthy, to stay healthy like that. Then oneself, be the example of healthy body, healthy mind to your families at home, to your friends, wherever you are. If you are still working, then at the working place, in this round of time, there's so many people are disturbed their mind, and not everybody has Dharma. So you have Dharma, you have Lojong. So when you go to work, you be the sunshine for them. You be the one. Just they looking at your face, just they hearing your words, just seeing you, they feel uplifted, they feel encouraged, they feel motivated. They're able to let go of their suffering. Then if staying at home, then just try to bring happiness in whatever way you can. Then at home, there's many people have pets like cats and dogs. Now you have full time for them, because many of them you don't go to work outside, so you have full time for them. Then try to you read the Lojong teaching loudly. That the cats, dogs sit around, you read for them. You reflect and you read for them. And you can bring them around holy object if you have any holy object, or you can just put the Lojong text, or maybe Lojong text in the iPad or mobile phone or computer, put there. Then let the cats, you chant Om Mani Padme Hum, go around the holy object. Or just play, like His Holiness Dalai Lama's teaching. Now there's so many recordings out there, just play. Like for me, it's one of the most effective since my Sarah time. One of the most effective is for me. I play His Holiness Dalai Lama's teaching, loudly, wherever you are, in the room or in the house, or whatever. You don't have to pay attention, whenever you can, pay attention. Otherwise, just play that sound. Then you just do your thing, cleaning house, mopping, cooking, sleeping, doesn't matter. Just play it out. It's so helpful for the mind. It just keep you stay very happy, you see, like that. Or you can play mantras, pujas, like that. So if it's convenient among all the family, do that. If not, at least for yourself, or at least put your earphone with all these sounds, so that you don't have to disturb your family member, but you yourself keep very positive energy, so that you can help the rest of the family, influence with positive energy, like that. Okay, so thank you so much. I will try my best to be like that, and I request all of you to stay happy and healthy body and mind. Okay, thank you very much. Take care. Bye-bye.